Hi, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Liel, and I'm Senior Customer Success Manager here at Comeet. And today we're going to dive into our Comeet Insights training. Today's agenda will include covering the hiring dashboard report. This report is the first report that opens up when you go into Comeet Insights, and it's a great place to start out the day, viewing all of your open positions, seeing the status of the different hiring processes, which interviews are coming up, and which candidates you should monitor. So this is our agenda for today. We're going to discuss the difference between positions and openings. We're going to see how the location, department, hiring manager, and recruiter fields impact our reports. We'll view the different positions and openings within this report and talk about the candidates to monitor and the different action items that you can take from viewing this report. So I'm just going to go ahead and remind you how to access Comeet Insights. So this is our Comeet main screen. You'll go to the top right-hand corner and click Comeet Insights. You'll see that it's opening up a new window, as this is an external platform based on a BI tool. I'm going to go ahead into our demo account to show you a little bit more data. So you'll see that the hiring dashboard is the first report that opens up, and just like the name is, okay, dashboard, this means that this report updates on a daily basis, just like all of the other reports. And it's showing you the situation as of right now. So it's not a report that you're going to go ahead and filter by time frame. It's a report that you're going to use to see the current situation. So it starts out pretty at the top. You can see the number of open positions you have at your company and the number of openings. This is a good opportunity to remind you that the openings are essentially the number of people that you're looking to hire, the number of openings you're looking to fill, and the position will be the position that will include the description, the hiring team. That's what you're going to go ahead and post and publish on the different job boards. And each position should have at least one open opening. If you're going to go ahead and hire for several customer success managers, for example, so you'll have several openings under one position. So these numbers should either be the same number or the openings should be the higher number. If it's opposite, that means that you have some positions that you either need to close or add openings to. On the right hand, we can see our different filters. We have the basic filters here of lead recruiter, location, department, and position. You can also filter the report by a specific hiring manager and decide to view your pool positions as well. So if you are a recruiter and you have several positions that are your responsibility, you can click here on the pencil icon to edit it. Unclick everybody and just choose your own positions, and then you'll be able to view the report only for the specific positions that you are responsible for. When you want to go ahead and restore the default filters and see the main screen with all of the positions included, you can click here on the little arrow and it will restore the different filters. So let's take a look at this report. So the first thing we talked about is the positions and the openings. Next, we're going to see the number of open positions by department, by location, by hiring manager, and by lead recruiter. And this is another opportunity to remind you that you're going to want to make sure that all of your positions in Comeet are updated with a relevant department and a relevant location. We don't want to see the word NA, because then we don't know where the position is located. We don't know for which department we're hiring, and this is obviously impacting our reports. Over here, we can see the open positions by lead recruiter and by hiring manager. And this is also a reminder to make sure that the hiring managers are updated correctly within the position hiring team. If we see any lead recruiter that shows up here in the hiring managers, that means that we need to update it, and vice versa. The next part of the report is actually a very interesting table. I'm going to go ahead and close the filters on the right-hand side for better visibility. I can also close the folders to the left-hand side as well. Now, over here in current positions and openings, what you're seeing is a table of all of your open positions with additional details such as location, department, hiring manager, and lead recruiter. And then we have two very interesting columns. The first is called most advanced step with pending candidates. So it's giving you an indication of how far along this hiring process is. Do I only have candidates at the CV screen, or maybe I already have candidates that are at the offer step or are already doing a home assignment. And we can see how many candidates we have at the most advanced step, which is together an indication of how far along the process is, where I should focus my efforts now. So we can see, for example, that the first position, the administrative assistant, has 1,000 candidates. I'm reminding you that this is a demo account, so the numbers probably don't match up to what you're expecting to see. But we have a large number of candidates that are in the CV screen recruiter. So this might be an indication that this is a position that hasn't been open for a long time, or maybe we were just starting to post the positions and publish them recently. We can see additional positions. For example, the field service engineer has one candidate in the reference check. So it's only one candidate on one hand, but it's the reference check, meaning that this is a candidate that's very advanced in the process. There's a high chance that we're going to extend an offer. So it's okay that we don't have additional candidates at this step. You can see here that you can scroll between the different pages since you have many open positions. And additional part of the table will include the number of current openings you have per position, how many days are open in terms of the openings. Here we can see large numbers because this is a demo account. We'll also be able to see if we have any openings that are pending approval, any future openings. Okay, so this is additional data that you can use to sort of keep track and get sort of a full high-level picture. Next, at the report, when you scroll a little bit more, you're going to see the candidates to monitor section. This has a variety of tables that help you sort of keep track of the different candidates in progress from several different points of view. I also want to just remind you that just like we can download the report as a PDF or as an image at the top and subscribe to this report and get it in our inbox, when you're looking at a specific table in the report, you can also hover over these three dots and then download this specific table to CSV or to Excel to do your own sort of graphs and data analysis and filters. So just keep that in mind. So back to candidates to monitor. The first table will have all of the new hires, anyone who's been hired and hasn't started yet. So it could be someone who's starting tomorrow, in 2 weeks, or in a month. You can see, of course, the position, the candidate name, and you have a clickable candidate URL that will take you to Comeet to their candidate card. Next, you'll have the upcoming interviews table. You can see that it's empty because as you already know, this is a demo account, but basically you'll have a list of all of your interviews organized by position. Everything will be clickable in order to go into Comeet and see the position or the specific candidate. It's also a good place to keep track to make sure all of your interviews have been scheduled, to make sure that you have reminders going out if needed to all of the hiring managers and the candidates. Next, we have the candidates awaiting decision. So candidates awaiting decision are essentially candidates that have completed all of the steps in the workflow, ideally have also received an offer according to how you're working with our offer letter feature and extending your offers. And then you can see the last date of their status change. So if it's been a week, maybe we want to make sure that we're not losing them to the competition and they're receiving other offers. If it's been a day, we probably sent the offer yesterday. We'll be able to see the candidate name, the name of the position, and the URL. So basically, these are all the candidates that have received offers, and we want to keep track and make sure that they're accepting our offer. If they have any questions, we're answering them. So that's a good place to keep track of, those candidates that we're really interested in hiring. Next, we have the advanced candidates table. This is showing you a list of all of your advanced candidates, anyone who has completed at least one interview. This is also organized by position. You can see the current step that the candidate is in. So you can see if it's an offer step or a CV screen. Sorry, a CV screen is not going to be included here because it's after one interview. Apologies for that misunderstanding. So the current step will include home assignments, will include different interviews, but basically what you're seeing here is what's happening with these candidates. You can see if their next interview has been scheduled. Okay, you'll be able to see the dates here. For those who haven't had an interview scheduled, it's a reminder to maybe schedule that interview or to complete the step that they're in. Okay, for example, here we have a candidate that's in the proceed with candidate step, meaning we have had some kind of conversation, with the candidate, an interview, but maybe we're not sure if we want to move forward with them. And this would be a good opportunity to contact the relevant teammate that's responsible for the step and make sure that they're making a final decision about the candidate, updating Comeet, and of course, updating the candidate. We can see the number of days that the candidate is in the current step. So obviously candidates that are in the step for about 4 days or more, it's an indication of maybe something that's taking a little too much time. Maybe you want to call the candidate, make sure that they're still actively in process, update them about their status. And of course, you'll be able to scroll here and view different positions and different candidates. Usually you're not going to see this amount of days, obviously, because this is a demo account, but it's also a good cleanup report. So if you do identify candidates that have been waiting in their step for over 30 days, that's probably an indication that we just haven't updated Comeet, that they have been rejected or withdrawn. Last but not least, we have our qualified candidates that require attention. Okay, so this is a list of all of the candidates that have passed the screening. I'm going to go ahead and remind you that our recommendation is to have the first step in the workflow be a go, no-go step. Usually it's going to be a CV screen in most cases, but in any case, it's important to know that this report is necessarily measuring the first go, no-go step in the process. So if, for example, it's a step of reach out or any other administrative task that's going to be impacting reports. These candidates have all been marked as qualified, right? So qualified candidates in Comeet are candidates that have passed their first go, no-go step, the CV screen step. And it's been over 4 days with no scheduled interviews. So this is also a reminder of candidates that maybe you forgot to address, maybe you've moved forward with advanced candidates, and that's okay that there are a few more waiting in the CV screen step, right? There's all sorts of different scenarios here, but it's another table that you can use in order to keep track of candidates, make sure that they're not falling between the cracks and everything is updated correctly in Comeet. Great, so that sums up our hiring dashboard. We're going to meet again soon to dive into additional reports. Thank you so much for joining us today, and hopefully you're going to dive into the data soon and see some value and get incredible insights. Have a great rest of your week.